Hello friends, from today onwards I'm going to start a new series in which I'll be discussing the different ideologies which are prevalent in different parts of the world. In our country there is a very large section of population which is almost ignorant regarding other religions which are prevalent in the world. And one such religion which I'm going to today talk about is Christianity. It's been more than 500 years when Vasco da Gama came with his pirates on the Indian subcontinent and started converting Hindus into Christianity. Since then, there has been an ongoing onslaught on Hindus to get converted into these Abrahamic faiths, whether they are Christianity or Islam. Now, this land which we call India has always been a land of seekers, a land of truth finders, a land of philosophers. Here, logic has always been preferred as compared to belief or faith. Now, belief and faith, these two words may appear to be very genuine, they appear to be very benign, but if you compare these two words with logic, they seem very redundant kind of words, because when we say that I believe in something or I have faith in something, then in effect what we are saying is that I have stopped thinking. I have stopped my quest for truth, and that is something which is very serious, and in these lectures I'm going to address this problem. So let's get started with the basics of Christianity. First things first, Christianity has one book which is known as Bible, or to be more specific, it is known as Christian Bible. It consists of two parts. One is known as the Old Testament, the other is known as the New Testament. The Old Testament actually is the Torah of Judaism, which has been borrowed as it is into Christianity, and New Testament is an addition by Christianity into the Judaism. Now, Old Testament contains 39 books, whereas New Testament contains 27 books. If we combine all these books, then you get what is known as Christian Bible. In today's discussion, I am going to limit my discussion only to the New Testament because we are focusing on Christianity. The 27 books of New Testament are 4 books which are known as Gospels, 1 book which is known as Act of Apostles, 21 books which are known as Epistles, and last book which is known as Book of Revelation. Now, when I was studying English language, I picked up a phrase which is known as gospel truth. This phrase is used to denote anything which the expressor thinks is purely true, or there is no falsehood present in it. That is why gospel truth is associated with some statements which are considered to be absolutely true. Why is it so? Because Christians believe that these 4 books which are known as Gospels have been written by disciples of Jesus Christ, and since they are inspired by God, or they are actually the word of God, therefore there is no word in these 4 books which can be wrong. In fact, they go a step further. They say that the entire Bible is word of God and there is not a single word which can be rejected as falsehood, but more so in case of Gospel. Now, these 4 Gospels are Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John. Now, according to Christian theology, all these 4 disciples of Jesus Christ were always accompanying him wherever he used to go. Therefore, their information regarding the life and events of Jesus Christ are absolutely true, and they have been documented in these 4 documents. And if we have to learn about Jesus Christ, then this is the best place to look for. The missionary setup which is present in our country has always been thrusting down our throats that Jesus Christ is a historical figure, whereas the deities which are revered by Hindus like Ram, Krishna, Hanuman, Devi Saraswati, all these are mythological figures who were never existing, who were not historical figures. Now, if we have to find out whether Jesus actually was a historical figure, the best place to look for that is into the Gospels, and that is what we are going to do today. The first thing that we are going to today discuss is the year in which Jesus Christ is supposed to have taken birth, if there ever was a Jesus Christ. Now, the first Gospel, Matthew, tells us that Jesus Christ took birth in 3-4 century BCE. Now, none of these Gospels are chronologically placed. That means they don't tell us that this was a date or this was a year in which Jesus Christ was born. We have to look or search for specific phrases from which we can gather this information regarding historicity of Jesus Christ. And this is what we are going to follow today. Let us look at Matthew regarding this particular claim that Jesus Christ took birth in 3-4 century BCE. This particular section of Bible is from the Gospel Matthew. What it states is, Now when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the young child's life are dead. Then he arose, took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. Now this particular extract is talking about the father of Jesus Christ, who was Joseph, that he saw a dream. Now, if we compare this story with the story of Lord Krishna, who was born in Mathura, we find parallels between them. There the story was that the king Kans wanted to kill all those newborns who had taken birth around the births of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he had sent his emissaries into different parts of India to kill all those infants. This story has been borrowed or copied from Mahabharata and has been added into Bible. That is the first impression that we actually get, because Bible is later to Mahabharata by at least 3000 years. Here the Bible is claiming that the father of Jesus Christ, that is Joseph, saw in a dream that those people who wanted to search out and kill the infant child have died because they had been ordered by King Herod. The king has died, therefore the people are not searching for Jesus Christ any longer. Now what we are going to do is we are going to corroborate this statement with the historical evidences. History tells us that there actually was a Roman king by the name of Herod, but his biographers tell us that this particular king had died in 4th century BCE, which means the birth of Jesus Christ could not have taken place later than this date, as it has already taken place since it is mentioned in Bible. Now how do we verify this? We can look into the second gospel. Let's move on to that. The second gospel is Mark. It unfortunately does not tell us anything regarding the year in which Jesus Christ took birth. So we will move on to the next gospel, which is Luke. The second chapter of this gospel of Luke tells us regarding birth of Jesus Christ. Let us go through it. It says, And it came to pass in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This census first took place while Quirinius was governing Syria, so all went to be registered, everyone to his own city. Now this particular gospel of Bible tells us that there was going to be a census which was going to take place when Jesus Christ was about to be born. Mary was pregnant, and this census had to take place during the rulership of Augustus Caesar, and during that time Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Now let us try to compare with actual historical documents. According to well-documented history, this census, which was to take place during the governorship of Quirinius in Syria, this census had taken place in 6th century AD or 7th century AD. Which means if we try to compare these two gospels, Matthew and Luke, there is a gap of 11 years regarding their claims of Jesus Christ's birth. Obviously, both of these cannot be true. There is contradiction, a glaring contradiction between these two. Let us move on to the next gospel. The fourth gospel is John, but unfortunately, it also does not give us any information regarding the year in which Jesus Christ had taken birth. So, out of these four gospels which are available to us, which according to church have every word written by God, are having contradiction which is so glaring that something as basic as the birth of Jesus Christ has a gap of 11 years between them. However, that is not the only problem when we try to find out the historicity of Jesus Christ through Bible. The second problem arises regarding the genealogy of Jesus Christ or the ancestors of Jesus Christ. Once again, the Gospels of Mark and John do not give us any information regarding genealogy of Jesus Christ. The other two documents, which are Matthew and Luke, they do give us information. In fact, it is Luke which is most detailed regarding genealogy of Jesus Christ. It goes from Adam up to Jesus Christ. It gives all the intervening generations in a sequence. Whereas if we look at Matthew, it starts only from Abraham. Now since before Abraham there cannot be any comparison, so we will try to compare both these Gospels starting from Abraham itself. Now if we compare these two lists, there are 39 generations between Abraham and Jesus when we look into Matthew's. Whereas if we look into Luke, there are 55 generations between Abraham and Jesus. And this difference becomes more pronounced if we compare the difference between the names which appear from David to Jesus. In Matthew, there are only 27 generations, whereas there are 42 generations when we look at Luke, starting from David and going up to Jesus Christ. And in only 4 of these cases, the names which appear in Luke are common with Matthew. Others are either completely different or their spellings are different. Now what is clear from this is that whoever was writing Bible did not notice the large discrepancy between the number of generations which are present in one gospel as compared to the number of generations present in the second gospel. Which means that either there has been a very large printing mistake by the biblical God, or this Bible has been composed by a large number of people who tried to create a new religion out of nowhere. In fact, if we compare the name of the grandfather of Jesus Christ in Matthew and Luke, they are different. One says it is Heli, the other says it is Jacob. So how do we reconcile this divine mismatch? I don't know. But what I am sure of is that next time when a missionary approaches you with that greasy smile on his face and tries to push a Bible down your throat, talk to him gently, confront him regarding these discrepancies in the word of so-called God which they are trying to claim, and that will put them on the back foot so that our this holy land is not corrupted by such kind of blind superstitions. Take care of yourself. Next time I'll bring some other facets of Christianity in front of you. Thank you very much. Namaste.